We welcome you into week 2 of the Ken Sparks Show. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. Eagles victorious in week 2, 20-7 over the Shorter Hawks. And Ken, defense. We talked about it all week leading up. Defense delivers. Aside from 2 plays, Shorter barely 2.3 yards of total offense, a touch. How about the job of Mike Clowney and the Carson-Newman defense to hold the Hawks at bay?
Well, like I said after the ball game, I'm so happy for our defensive staff and our kicking staff because we need to make some things happen. And, that's the way life is. That's the way games are, football games, that sometimes there's parts of life that's tough and parts of life that's good, and because of the things that come along, because of the people you're around, because of what all you're having to deal with at that particular time. And so it's the same way in football. Sometimes defense has to win a game, sometimes offense has to win a game, sometimes kicking games has got to win a game. And so you've got different things. I think the first team that we played exposed us quite a bit defensively, and we exposed them by scoring a whole bunch of points. And then this game, I think they had their top 22 starters or players back on defense, and they exposed us a little bit. They exposed some of our limitations on offense and some things that we've got to improve on. So I hope the defense don't get the fat head from this week, and I hope the offense don't get the fat head from last week. And I hope that we continue to improve and keep doing the things that a good football team does in order to be productive in what we're doing.
First week, one phase of the game really working. This past week, I think you mentioned kickoff coverage. Punting was phenomenal.
Yes.
Christian Ramirez, finally we get to see what he's capable of. And
he did pretty good, didn't he?
Second career punt's the third longest punt in Carson-Newman football history. What about the job of the kicking game?
Well, I loved it, and we were dominant. And that's what we've always said. You got offense, defense, kicking. And 2 of those 3 you got to win if you're probably to win a ball game. And one that should be automatic every week is the kicking, because that one's almost in your full control as far as how you maneuver it and how you do it. And so, and maybe offense and defense is too, but specifically kicking game is usually completely set on how excited you are about doing it. And so, again, like I say, maybe offense and defense is too, but kicking game, it's got to be automatic for us.
We take a look at the first half when we come back after this on the Ken Sparks Show. Welcome back on the Ken Sparks Show. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. Eagles pick up a win in week 2, 20-7 over the Shorter Hawks. Ken, right out of the gates, defense flexed its muscle. Stop on the first possession. Offense got stopped as well. What set the tone defensively for you in that first half?
Well, I think, first of all, it was a great plan. And I think, second of all, and most important thing, it was greatly executed. And I think our kids were bothered by what happened last week, and I think they were determined to show that they were better than that. And, and it's, and we played some fundamentals. We got under some pads and still been up above their pads, on the blocking and at the line of scrimmage. And we were running to the ball and still jogging to the ball. And we didn't miss many tackles. We missed some, but we didn't miss as many tackles, near as many as we did the first week. So it was just a matter of improvement, and then improvement comes from want to. We had some guys that wanted to make a difference defensively, and they did.
Really, the only breakdown comes on a 3rd and long for them. B.J. McCoy, Shorter's fullback, breaks a 77-yard touchdown run around the right side of the line. Aside from that, I can't think of many plays where things broke down against you.
No, a 70-yard run and a 30-something yard pass, you take those out and they're under 100 yards offense. And that's unheard of these days,
yeah.
In a modern football. And So I was really, really pleased with him. I wasn't pleased with the 70-yard run, and then the fact that we couldn't catch him, that bothered me. And but that's what option football does if everybody don't play their assignments. And we had a guy that dipped inside when he shouldn't have dipped inside, and the dive broke outside of him, and so there's nobody left assigned to the dive. And so when you bring the defensive end in on a dive, then you're scraping the linebacker to the quarterback, and it didn't happen. And so if you don't play assignment football on all three phases of the game, then you're going to get hurt.
We take a look at those first half highlights. Eagles lead it at the break, 14-7.
Little block Jordan Shaw. It's a big play.
1st and 10. Eagles throw a slant out right side, complete to Trayshawn Ward over the 45 of Shorter down to the 43. Wesley Clay knocks him down in the boundary left side as the Eagles get 12 yards and another first down. 3 straight plays, 3 straight first downs for Carson-Newman. Split backfield on 1st and goal from the right hash at the Hawks 7. Wide receiver each direction, wide side to the left of the field. Thomas takes the snap, hands off, dive, left side. Damian Baker charges his way for 6. Touchdown! Carson-Newman. Damian Baker meanders his way 7 yards for the score to put the Eagles in front, 6-0, 4:32 left in the first quarter. Set Lawhorn and Clark each direction. Clark is to the wide side left. James under center, hands off right to McCoy, has first down yardage, breaks a tackle at the 30. McCoy off to the races, down the right sideline. Can the Eagles catch him? McLeese in pursuit, dives, can't get there. McCoy breaks it off on the trap around the right side of the line for a 78-yard touchdown run. And the Hawks a point after away from tying this one up. Looked like the Eagles had him bottled up. McCoy broke a tackle at the 30 and then rumbled his way down the right sideline. The 3rd and 11 for the Hawks from the right hash at their own 19-yard line. James under center, half a bone. 3 wide, throws out slant right side, incomplete to Lawhorn. He paid for that one on the slant with Ian Jacob, Jason Williams, and Saheem Stupart all in the area. Great defense defending the quick slant there for the Hawks. 4th down and the Hawks punt. Thompson back to punt. He'll stand at his own 5. Ward at midfield in the middle of the Eagle head. Eagles bring pressure from the outside, won't get there. Ward will field the punt at his own 46. Ward shaking and baking to the left sideline. 30, 25, and knocked out of bounds by the punter Thompson at the 23. A 23-yard return. Vontae James under center in the flex bone. McCoy points to the sky as he gets down into his crouch at fullback. Sutton and Fowler, the slot backs. Handoff straight ahead. McCoy, ball pops out. Ball's free in the backfield. Eagles pick it up. Carson-Newman recovers the fumble as the return man grabbed it at the 20, rumbled his way down to the 19. Saheem Stupart, the man who picked up the pigskin and returned it 6 yards to the Shorter 19. To the right side of the line. Thomas takes, trap right side. Baker, too easy. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Baker untouched around the right side of the line. And he has touchdown number 2 of the day, touchdown number 5 for his senior season. 1:19 left.
Those are the first half highlights. Eagles lead the Hawks 14-7 at the break. Ken, offense tough to come by against Shorter. You brought up the 22 returning members of their 2 deep earlier. Why was offense tough to come by?
Well, what am I about to say? We didn't block at times like we should have, and then we didn't execute at times like we should have, and you know, it still comes down, usually if you have a hard time moving the ball, most of the time it comes down to whether you blocked and executed or not. And but probably the number one problem was me. I was calling some plays. I was just, it was one of those days where it seemed like I was one step behind and still been one step ahead. And so I've apologized to the offensive coaches, to our players, to Coach Turner, because he's a a guy that respects my old age, and when I make a suggestion, he goes along with me. And there was several of them that weren't very good suggestions.
Still, though, Damian Baker able to grit out 70-plus yards. Montavious Taylor goes for 80. What about the job of Taylor in the absence of Jamal Jones?
Well, both of them are tough kids, and both of them are relatively young to this system, and so they both are sometimes making mistakes that they shouldn't make. But both of them are quality players, and I think quality people are going to continue to get better.
Carson-Newman leads Shorter 14-7 at the break. The Eagles go on to win over the Hawks 20-7 to get to 2-0. We take a look at the second half when we come back after this on the Ken Sparks Show. We welcome you back on the Ken Sparks Show. The Eagles victorious over the Shorter Hawks 20-7 in week 2 of the season. Carson-Newman defense dominates. Saheem Stupart, Ken, about as nice a stat line as you could ask for. 7 tackles, a forced fumble and a fumble recovery all on the same play, and then an interception where if the old turf monster doesn't grab him, he's probably scoring. What about the job of your sophomore linebacker?
Well, very, very good, and of course he would tell you, I'll tell you that a lot of it, linebackers, is so dependent upon those guys up front of doing their job. Mm-hmm. And we had a whole lot better line play, which made it a whole lot better linebacker play, which made it a whole lot better secondary play, and it all works together. But it starts up front, but Shaheem was everywhere, and
yeah.
When he got there, he was in a bad humor too. When he got to where he wanted to get to, and it was good.
Ross Pryor, Demetrius Harris, Brian Bembry, C.T. Level, Phelan Booker, seemed like you mentioned the line play, seemed like they were getting a tremendous push.
They were. They played a whole lot better, still made some mistakes, and, putting our head inside a couple of times when we shouldn't have put our head inside, but it was a lot better. Thank you. Thank you. It was a lot better. Yeah.
Secondary, too. They produced some big hits in places or from people that I don't associate big hits with. Jerry McLeese, Emmanuel Orange, sure, those are 2 bell ringers. But when Ian Jacob and David Crumity are waylaying people,
yeah.
What about that effort?
Oh, that's great, and that's the way it should be. The secondary should be, because they get to run and start. They are to be the guys that bring the biggest load, that they are, and we missed some tackles. Jerry missed 1 or 2 that was I even fussed at him on the sideline. But and I'm hoping with more experience that we're going to get better with all that. And we got to, because this week we play a complete team. Mm-hmm. When it's not just good offense or good defense, but good solid football.
We take a look at the second half highlights. Eagles go on to defeat the Shorter Hawks 20-7.
Bryant 3rd and 10 from the left hash at his own 1. Bryant takes, hands off, right side dive. McCoy stood up by Coates and Stupart as he twists his way across the 5 up to the 8 between the hash marks. Gain of 7, and it'll be back-to-back 3 and outs for the Hawk. James under center. McCoy the fullback. McCoy takes the handoff on the dive straight ahead, and hello Demetrius Harris, hello Phelan Booker, hello Jordan Price. No gain. Great job by that front 4 today for the Eagles.
Yeah, real nice jobs all day long by Demetrius Harris. He has been in and around the football throughout the game.
1st and 10 Hawks from their own 38. Drive started back at the 25. Pitches out left side to Carr, and Carr obliterated by David Crumity. Shed his block in the backfield and then waylaid Carr back at the 33. -5 on the play. 2nd and 15. Rocky Coles is in the game at fullback behind James. Fake the pitch to Carr, does James. Now the pressure comes. Throws it out to the right sideline, and it is intercepted. Saheem Stupart picks it off at the 30 and rumbles his way down to the 21. He recovered a fumble in the first half. This time he gets his hands on the pick. Carson-Newman football with 10 seconds left in the third quarter, leading by 10. Nance to snap, go forth to hold. Snaps back, hold is down. Wise puts the boot on the ball. It has the distance. Does it have the line? It does. Wise, 2 for 3 on field goals today. He converts from 36 to push the Eagles' lead to 13. It's 20-7. Carson-Newman has the lead on Shorter with 14:06 left in the fourth quarter. James under center flexbone, McCoy behind him, fakes the pitch, instead counter right side Sutton. Sutton has running room into the boundary right, but it's quickly closed by Jason Williams. Jason Williams only allows him 2 yards up to the 21. Third down and 8 to go.
2 players on that side. Brandon Staten, you see him one-on-one against one of the pooling guards.
Those are the second half highlights. Eagles go on to defeat the Shorter Hawks 20-7. When we come back on the Ken Sparks Show, it's Michael Wattrang's turn to shine his Eagles spotlight. That's after this. Welcome back on the Ken Sparks Show. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. Before we break down next week's opponent, Catawba, Michael Wattrang shines his Eagles spotlight on a member of the Carson-Newman football team, and this week it goes on Damian Baker.
After being named a junior college All-American in 2013, Damian Baker expected to be a key contributor on Carson-Newman's football team in his first season. However, having to sit on the bench for a couple of games, he was humbled by that experience and was ready once he took the starting job.
Mostly it affected me mentally. I came from a JUCO, being a 2-year starter there, and just coming in, I thought, my talent would speak for itself, but here you got to have the right attitude, and it really just made me a better player mentally, having a better attitude and just looking at things in a more positive perspective than looking at it negatively by me just sitting on the sideline.
Andy Hibbett was Baker's teammate last season and is now his position coach. The 2014 Harlan Hill finalist marvels at Baker's change in attitude.
I'll tell you what, I think Damian has turned, a full 180. Going from playing with him to now coaching him, he kind of wasn't bought into the program fully last year, and he has since matured a lot, and it's such a blessing to coach him. Now guys look at him as a leader, and before that they didn't really look at him as a leader. So you can just tell the turnaround from playing with him to coaching. Now I get to kind of a different view of it, and guys are looking up to him, and he's speaking to guys, and it's pretty cool to see how someone is not really bought into the program, but now is fully bought into the program and see that change in their life.
The difference has been seen by fellow running back Jamal Jones. The Chattanooga, Tennessee native has seen a more vocal leader that has bought into the program's mission.
Yeah, he's really helping out me and the younger guys really with our steps and little things such as effort. Just taking that, he tells us to take advantage of every day and every opportunity because you never know when it's your last. He's really helped a lot.
Hibbett was the leader of the 2014 running back group and has seen a smooth transition to coaching thanks to the maturation of Baker.
You really look to the older guys to be able to give you that respect, and that's hard because you played with them. But I mean, he calls me Coach Hibbett, which is still kind of weird to me. I haven't really got used to it, but it's just one of those things that we have this mutual respect for each other. I realize I played with him, but then again, I realize I have to do my job, and he realizes he has to do his job. I mean, basically, I'm just there to help him along and make sure his steps are right. And the good thing is I get to be out on the field with him during games. That's one of the coolest things I've ever experienced.
Baker said his goals this season is to be a leader and stay humble. When asked what he sees in his future, he said he wanted to be a successful man, first and foremost.
Like I said before, coming in, I wasn't as mature as I am now. It just teach you to be a better young man. I thought life was all about football, but it's more things to life than football. It had really just got me closer to God and everything that I really need to do to make my life better for my future.
Carson-Newman coach Ken Sparks said Baker is one of the great success stories during his tenure. Sparks called the change of heart for Baker special, real, and a transformation for a gifted student athlete. For the Ken Sparks Show, I'm Michael Wattrang.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Wattrang. And Ken, Damian Baker, what a turnaround he's made.
Yeah, what a great success story for, I think for him, for us, for everybody involved. I think we all win when we honor the Lord with our lives, and I think that's what Damian is doing. I think he's made some big steps in that direction, and it's just it's great to see his heart and see him pliable in the Lord's hands. And has he arrived? No. Have I? No. But I think the Carson-Newman environment sure has been good for Damien.
Mm-hmm. Turn your attention now to the Catawba Indians, a dangerous club, great offense, great defense. Probably starts a bit with the quarterback there. Mike Sheehan is getting to feel like he's been there forever, but certainly some talent under center or in the gun for the Indians.
Well, I think I agree with that, and I think they've got some offensive weapons, and I think maybe 8 of them back from last year. But defensively, to me, that's the part that they really, really are gifted in the fact that they got 3 underclassmen linebackers that are going to be really great before they graduate. They got a couple of secondary guys. They got a defensive end and a defensive tackle. So, all the way up and down the line, they've got players that can play that have played a lot already, and it's going to be a good challenge for us.
Last year's game came down to the wire. The game 2 years ago here came down to the wire. What do you take away from those last 2 contests?
Well, just the fact that it's going to be a 60-minute game, and every which team probably makes the fewest mistake will win the ball game. And so I just hope that, I can't worry about Catawba. I need to worry about Carson-Newman, because Carson-Newman is who beats Carson-Newman most of the time. And so we just want to continue to get better and improve and grow from this week, because that's always been our goal at Carson-Newman, is to improve every week, and by the end of the year be a good football team. We're not there right now, and we still got some people hurt that we need to get on the field. Some of them we won't get on the field, and that, for a coach, when you're so limited on scholarships and limited on number of players, that really bugs me. We need to get some people to grow up on the field.
Mm-hmm. Ken, blast as always. We'll talk to you next week on the Ken Sparks Show. Congratulations on the win.
Well, thank you. Look forward to seeing you, and thank you, Lord.
It's Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier. This has been the Ken Sparks Show. Thanks for watching.